Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back with another video, and today I am going to take a quick look at the Transformers Legacy Evolution War Dawn 2-pack. I have been wanting to do a review on them. When I heard about this pack, I was like, yeah, definitely. Considering I already have the Hero is Born 2-pack with Alpha Trion and Orion packs, I knew that the War Dawn pack would be something I wanted to get. So, and yes, these figures are retools of existing figures, and I'll get into that in the review. And on the top of the packaging there, you can see Megatron leading the Decepticons, which is pretty much what Ariel and Dion are looking at if you are familiar with the episode War Dawn. Of course, I'm going to get these guys out of the box, take a quick look at them. So without further ado, let's sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchase some merch on my spring store today. Okay, so here is Dion and Ariel outside of the packaging, and as we already know that these two figures are retools, Dion being a retool of Studio Series 86 Cup, while the Transformers Legacy Prime Universe RC is the retool made for Ariel. And considering that they are obscure characters, the fact that they decided to even make toys of them, I think is a treat for any fan personally, but there are some good and bad and ugly things with these figures. The first one I'm going to talk about is going to be Ariel herself, who ends up in the future becoming Elita 1. And that is the future self of her. They did retool quite a bit, giving us a new front end for the motorcycle, which I think was a welcome addition. But I put it down because in the cartoon, she never transformed in the series. And she has all the good, bad, and ugly things about the Transformers Prime RC toy. So if you like this mold, great. But, for those that, had some issues with it, of course, are going to have those problems. Now, her face sculpt, on the other hand, I think personally looks great. The only issue I have there is you can probably see that little bit of a nick there on her face, and it's a little wide-chinned. Like, that's just kind of like one issue that I have. But I do like the fact that this is removable, so you can take off the ponytail. And it does have a little bit of a little peg there, and that helps create the head sculpt in and of itself. She also comes with a blaster, even though she never did so in the cartoon. There is her blaster. This is actually the same blaster of Elita 1, so yeah, this is probably going to end up going with her. And, Ariel will end up with nothing because, well, she wasn't a warrior. She was Orion Pax's girlfriend. And, of course, we know Orion Pax became Optimus Prime. So, let's just put her down for a moment. And we'll take a look at Dion. And I did not add any of the accessories on him on purpose because I wanted to talk about the figure itself. And, one of the things is because this is a retool of Studio Series 86 Cup. The whole reason why this feature was added to the figure was because in the movie, Cup got battle damage and his arms and legs were ripped off by a giant robotic squid, and Hot Rod had to repair him. So both Orion Pax and Dion have to deal with the removable limbs. The bad side to it is that all of the reuses of this mold have made it super loose. The arms here just fall off. I've heard people complain that the limbs just fall off right out of the packaging. You have to really place it just right in order to keep the arms on. The legs stay on perfectly fine, but it is the arms that are the issue. And boy, oh boy, does it really hamper anything you want to do with this guy. And the other thing is, of course, he comes with the accessories of Studio Series 86 Cup, so he does have an orange blaster, and he has the Energon goodie dispenser. But The big thing is that because he is a retool, they did do justice and give us a retooled backpack so that you can add these pieces in. And they aren't supposed to go this way. That's what I first thought when I, did so myself. But, I'm sure the limbs are going to end up falling off as I place these on. They go on like so. And that gives Dion the whole impression of the backpack that he had in the cartoon. And I think that looks great. I do. I also like the face sculpt. The face sculpt is very good. In fact, Dion also appeared in the first episode of Transformers Animated, where they reused stock footage from War Dawn to explain the history in Transformers Animated, even though it's not in the same continuity. One thing I do want to talk about with him that I don't care for is the fact that he has light piping, whereas both Ariel and Orion Pax have painted on eyes, so it's like, I'm sure the Toy Hacks labels are going to end up having the eyes. I'm going to have to get a fine-tuned, grip in order to get the Toy Hacks labels to make him look proper. But, here, if I just do so like that, the limb falls off. There, it doesn't even give me the opportunity. Now, as I said before, Dion is Orion Pax's best friend. So, seeing the three of them together would always be a treat for sure, considering, that the three of them were right at the beginning of, Megatron's conquest. They were victims of, meeting Megatron. And because of that, they got blasted to scrap. And, if we place Orion Pax here in between them, you could see all three of them look fantastic together. That is really the entire reason for the set. And if we were to go by, their future selves, all things considered, we know that basically what we have here is we have the future version of Optimus Prime. We have the future version of Elita 1. And for Dion, I made a whole video on it. And even though it's my theory, and I know it's kind of shared among other Transformers fans, even though they don't necessarily agree, and Hasbro is kind of on the fence about committing to this or whether or not he is or isn't. But I'm of the opinion that Ultra Magnus, and here is my customized Kingdom Ultra Magnus, who Dion becomes. But that is always the speculation between the three characters, of who Orion Pax, Ariel, and Dion, eventually become. And it's kind of interesting, too, because, when you consider it having a character who has a future self, you also have, Hot Rod, eventually became RodimusPrime. So here's my customized Kingdom Rodimus. And I know it's kind of a little bit of a showcase, but it's really more so about showing, having these characters together. And if we wanted to really contrast and compare here, I'm going to move Ariel out of the way for the sheer reason that you can see that Dion and Orion Pax are also made from the Cup mold. And I wanted to bring Cup in here. Here's my Studio Series 86 Bumblebee version of Cup, and I think that's more of the definitive version of that character. But something I did for Cup, because I had the same issue with Dion and Orion Pax, that I'm going to end up doing, and that is I painted, I used, enamel paint, and you can get, a thicker paint or whatever on there. I painted the tabs themselves, and once I let that cure and dry, the arms do not fall off. So this is basically what I did to fix Cup. And I'm trying to remember, did I do the same for Orion Pax? I do not believe I did. I did not. So I did not have the same issue with Orion Pax. But I'm having the issue with Dion. And I'm going to end up getting some orange paint. And I'm just going to paint the tabs on Dion. And that will keep his limbs in place. That being said, that's where it comes down to. It's some people are going to go, this figure is all messed up or whatever, but it's a very simple fix. So it is something that you can do. Now, I'm going to move Ariel back into place. And it's kind of interesting to look at all three figures here next to each other, considering that you have, Road Rocket, RC, and Ariel here. And I do think that Ariel wears the mold very well, as does Road Rocket. I was never been a fan of the Transformers Prime, RC figure, and I understand a lot of Transformers Prime fans, feel that way, but I myself, look at her as, if she's a new character, I can get behind her being alongside the rest of my Autobots, but I do like Road Rocket, and I do like Ariel in particular. Okay, so I didn't show you guys the transformation, but that was because I've already shown this to you guys in a previous video. But from their vehicle modes, you can kind of see that they do shine pretty well. I do really like Ariel's new motorcycle mode, especially considering that the front has been retooled in a way. And the only issue that I have with her in motorcycle mode is because of her hands being open and being retooled from the previous figures, it shows a lot more in vehicle mode, and that becomes a little bit of a problem. But other than that, I really dig her. Now for Dion, on the other hand, this is where I do want to kind of make mention about the fact that, well, you can see the fists are not, the arms there are not staying in place. I actually had to remove them in order to transform it. Again, this is something that I'm going to have to take care of when, after I have, finished this review. But you don't have to remove them, but I did so for the transformation, for the posts here in the back, because these parts here actually connect like so, and you don't have to remove them for transformation, but they click in right there. There's a peg here, and I'll show that to you on this one as well. There's a little tab there that goes there, and it fits in quite nicely, and it gives Dion a much more, I would say it's getting closer to his animation model for his vehicle mode, because he was supposed to be a very large transport truck, that kind of rolls in, and they're like, oh, there's Dion, there's my best friend. And looking at the two of them together, their vehicle modes do look really nice together. And comparing, all three motorcycles that I have here, RC, I still don't care for her in particular, even though blue is one of, blue does look nice on, on a Transformer. I think Road Rocket wears the mold the best, but the front end there, the change that they did for Ariel, I think was well worth it. And I like the detailing on her a little bit more, but this kind of seems like a motorcycle I would see on the road maybe a bit more. And maybe the Toy Hacks labels would actually fix this, problem, but I do think that Ariel looks pretty good. But when comparing the three versions of the Cup mold, Cup obviously turns into a very old, pickup or flatbed truck, and Orion Pax here having this particular transformation kind of doesn't do him a lot of favors. I think Dion wears it a lot better in comparison to Orion Pax in vehicle mode. In robot mode, all three of them look great, personally speaking. And of course, getting the Bumblebee version of Cup, I think, is a must, unless of course you get the Toy Hacks labels to circumvent that. But either way, it's a matter of do you care about the characters or not? And unfortunately, Orion Pax himself, since he does turn into Optimus Prime, something I didn't just show in my previous review, he does not carry the trailer. But that is pretty much what you would have if there was a trailer designed to work with Orion Pax. So let's wrap this up. So do I think that the Transformers Legacy Evolution War Dawn 2-pack belongs in your collection? I think so, especially if you are a fan of the episode War Dawn. Being able to have Orion Pax alongside Ariel and Dion is definitely something awesome to be able to have to reenact, of course. But I think that Ariel is a great figure. You know, even with the extra tooling that they've done to her, a little bit of changes with the head and the, you know, addition, making the motorcycle a little bit different, you know, is worth it in my opinion. And I think she wears it very well. I do like the open hands. It just kind of shows in motorcycle mode, and that kind of is a little bit of a downside for her, but that is perfectly fine. As for Dion, he does suffer a bit from the fact that he is sharing a mold with Cup, and the limbs do fall off very easily. It is something that you can fix on your own. So if that's not something that is going to bother you that much, you know, being able to have, you know, Orion Pax's best friend from back in the day, to be able to have him in your collection. And I do like the added parts here in the back, you know, giving him something a little bit extra detailing to really make him stand out a little bit more. But I want to know what you guys think of these figures. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more news, reviews, and retrospectives and more coming down the pipeline for Transformers, so stay tuned for all of that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.